Hi everybody, it's Miss Greta again today. Hopefully you're picking up where we left off yesterday, halfway through our book, Critters Don't Litter. And we're going to just go right back where we left off and begin Chapter 3. Andi teaches about littering. Andi stood before a very large group of animals. There were raccoons, beavers, deer, squirrels, rabbits, possums, groundhogs, and even turtles. He felt a little intimidated when the bear families came waddling in to hear what he was going to say. However, he knew he had a job to do, and so he began. First, I want you to know that critters don't litter. He looked into the eyes of the animals staring at him. However, people do. You saw what they did today. Can I change what they did? No. Why, you may ask, do they litter? Well, let me try to explain. Most people do not litter. It is disgusting to see them to see litter along the roadsides and in other places. They dislike it when litter is thrown into their yards and neighborhoods. It looks awful and it stinks. However, there are careless people who do litter. These people may simply not care, and it doesn't matter to them. It could be they feel it isn't their responsibility. They may have never been taught that littering is wrong. They never realized it could harm animals, people, or the environment. You may be wondering what harm littering does. It could be very dangerous. If you come upon litter, you must remember to be very careful and don't go near it. Even if you think there's something you'd like to eat, don't. Animals have gotten their heads caught in cans and plastic bags and have smothered. The litter could also be rotten, and you could eat it and get sick or even die. Then there's always the possibility that you could cut yourself on broken glass or other things that are sharp. Andi continued, "Is there any animal here that knows anything about money?" Sammy spoke up. "I know that people work, get money so they can buy the things they need. Money comes in coins and paper bills." "You're right, Sammy," commended Andi. "Let me tell you how expensive littering is," explained Andi. Mrs. Owl was very interested and asked, "Do humans have to buy litter with money?" Andi smiled as he answered, "No. But let me tell you how much money humans spend each year to take care of the litter that is thrown on the highways, countrysides, parks, school grounds, and other places where littering is seen. It costs people who live in the United States approximately $11.5 billion each year to clean it up. Who cleans it up? People are hired or clean up litter themselves. About 50 billion pieces of litter are picked up each year, and as many as 6,500 items are picked up every mile. That's a lot." "Oh my, that is disgraceful," said Mrs. Owl. "What can be done?" "People have to change their attitude about littering," said Andi. "I'm teaching you now, and I'd like you to remember what I'm telling you. But how people feel about throwing things on the ground and leaving them is important. Many people do not know what they're doing when they litter. They don't realize it's entirely up to them to keep the country clean and beautiful." "Who does most of the littering?" asked Mr. Fox. "Most littering is done by children, teenagers, and young adults who are in their 20s or 30s. However, some older adults litter also," answered Andi. Mr. Bear spoke up. "Are people punished for littering?" "Absolutely. There are many laws, and people who are caught pay fines. These fines could be $50 or as much as $2,500, answered Andi. What will happen to all the litter that the humans left behind near our woods? Asked Sammy. I would hope a human sees it and picks it up, but there are other things that could happen to it. If there's a strong wind, it could blow away. But it doesn't disappear. It could blow into lawns or landscaped areas or into storm drains that would lead to waterways like streams, creeks, lakes, and oceans. It could kill the fish or other aquatic animals that live there. It could rot, and the smell would be horrible, remarked Andi. One of the little rabbits hopped up to Andi. He put his nose in Andi's face and asked, would the smell be worse than yours? All the animals broke out into laughter. They knew this was a good question. Andi answered without hesitating, yes, littering stinks. I mean, it really stinks. Andi felt he had told the Deep Woods animals enough. He asked if there were any more questions before he headed back with Sammy to his home. Andi was going to report back to the Animal Environmental Protection Agency and tell what he saw and what he taught the animals about littering. He waited for questions. Chapter 4. Recycling Explained. A quiet voice was heard. Andi, could you tell us what litter is and how it should be taken care of? Andi thought for a moment before answering. Litter is anything that is scattered around carelessly. It's hard to name all the things people throw on the ground. It could be gum or candy wrappers, bottles, paper items of all kinds, soda cans, cigarettes, food, metal objects, glass and plastic containers, or garbage. This is only naming a few items. These should never be thrown on the ground. If a person is wise, he or she will have plastic garbage bags in vehicles to place throwaway items. And when they're outside of their home, they should look for trash cans to dispose of their litter. In many states, there are county convenience centers, we call it the dump, don't we, where people can take their trash without charge. There are also garbage companies who could come and pick it up. One of the most amazing things people can do is called recycling. People have the opportunity to take some of the litter they would normally throw away and use it again. Mr. Turtle nudged his way closer to Andi. The other animals were very considerate and gave him room as he approached Andi. I have a question, Mr. Andi. If you're talking about stinky litter, why would people want to use it again? The other animals were in agreement with the question and thought using litter sounded like a silly thing to do. Andi knew he had to explain recycling very well, so the animals would understand. Of course, not all litter can be recycled. Yes, there are things that definitely need to be thrown away, but some things can be recycled and used again. I'll give you a list of what can be recycled. And it shows those on our picture there, so I'll just read them to us. Metal cans, plastic bags, clean paper, cardboard, plastic, some places can recycle glass, newspapers, and metal cans. Mr. Turtle spoke up again. But who does all of this? How is it done? Andi explained. There are places called resource recovery facilities or recycling centers where everything is sorted, cleaned, and prepared so it can be used again. Of course, these facilities would not have anything to recycle if people didn't take the time to place the items in the designated places where they should go. Once the recycling items are picked up, a process begins to make them reusable. Recycling is important, for it can save energy, water, and other natural resources where we live. Did you know that you recycle things too? He said to the animals. You take the fallen branches, twigs, and leaves to make your homes or nests. When you do this, you make the deep woods look clean and tidy. I bet you never thought about that, did you? However, you have nothing to do with what people recycle because you have nothing to do with littering. I am here just to teach you something about all of this because it is my job. Mrs. Owl spoke up. We want to thank you, Andi. I believe we have learned a great deal about littering, and I'm sure we won't forget it. You have made us wiser. Sammy saw the serious looks on the faces of his friends and decided to cheer them up. I have something very important for you to hear. I want you to remember this. Critters don't litter. People do. Let's say it together, loud and clear. And you all out there, you say it with us, okay? Let's say it again. Critters don't litter. People do. At that, the animals began to scamper to their homes, and Sammy and Andi smiled because they could hear throughout the deep woods. Let's say it one more time. Critters don't litter. People do. Andi had done his job well. He taught the animals about littering and recycling. Now he and Sammy could renew their friendship and enjoy their time together. The end. Okay, and I'll just share with you one more little picture that's in the back here. I don't know how well you can see that, but those are some pictures of some nasty litter. Real pictures of some nasty litter, huh? The wind is trying to blow my stuff away, but I liked being outside for these. Such a pretty day. And it says, why? Who? Was it you? Okay, I hope you enjoyed that story of Critters Don't Litter. It was written by Adele Roberts. I forgot to mention that when we first started our book. And Miss Mika bought this book for us. And she even got Miss Roberts to sign it. Isn't that cool? Okay, now, of course, I had to have one more fun craft to share with you all before I go today. And since this is going to be my last post before Easter, I just couldn't resist using some more of my egg carton that I had. The same one we had yesterday. That same egg carton that we used for our caterpillar and our snake. Well, we cut some more off. This time we cut just the little individual egg holders off, just like that. We cut those off. You'll probably need, if you younger kids will need a grown-up to help you cut those off, okay? And then what we did is we used the little individual piece to draw a little bunny face on there. We used markers we used Sharpies. They seem to work the best. But I bet any markers, even an ink pen would probably work. Draw your little bunny face on there. And we used the extra scraps to cut out some little ears. And you'll definitely need a grown-up to help you cut the slits. You cut the slits right underneath there to put the ears in. And that's Layla's bunny. Didn't she do a good job? Way to go, Layla. That's her little Easter bunny from the egg carton. And since Raheem wasn't here anymore, our cousin went home. So we went ahead and I made one too. I couldn't help it. I couldn't resist. We made 2 little Easter egg holder bunnies. So I hope you like that. If you get the chance to make those at home, don't forget to send us pictures on our Facebook page. And maybe Miss Mika or I can post them to our page there, okay? Have a fun, happy, safe Easter. And if you all want to check out East Tennessee Artscape's Facebook page or Newport Theater Guild's Facebook page or my personal one, you can find some information on there about a virtual Easter egg hunt that Cott County is doing. Since we're not going to be able to gather at our churches and parks like we usually would for egg hunts, instead this year we're going to get to drive around and find Easter eggs, decorations, and eggs that people have put up especially in their windows, doors, and yards that you can see from the road. So try to check that out and have a fun, happy, safe Easter, okay? And I will talk to you all again next week. Thank you so much.